So, good evening, everyone, and warm welcome to the virtual town hall of Association of Independent Data Auditors. It's my privilege to welcome each one of you, and it's a great pleasure to have you in this call. With this welcome note, I request Mr. Naavi sir to start the concept note and other details of AIDAA. Those who have missed on the launch of April 11th, I think it's an opportunity for everyone to look at it and get the details. And from there, we will get into the next event of the details from others. So I request Navi sir to kickstart this program.
Thank you, Vijendra, and good evening, all of you. It's a pleasure to talk to all of you about this unique proposition, Association of Independent Data Auditors. In fact, on 11th April, we actually dedicated this to the community like a soft launch. And on that day, we were supposed to have a webcasting of the event also, but due to some technical issues, it could not be done. So we thought that we should have another opportunity to talk to people outside Bangalore and just share our thoughts on this particular activity. Now, most of you are aware of FDPPI, but for the sake of a few of the people who may be new, I will just take a couple of minutes. As we know that the personal data protection journey in India has gone through a lot of, say, a huge journey. I actually identify 2006 as the starting point of this journey because that was the time when Personal Data Protection Bill 2006 was introduced in the Parliament along with the Information Technology Act Amendment Bill. But at that time, the Parliament, of course, term ended and both the bills actually lapsed. And in the next Parliament, the Information Technology Amendment Bill was represented and it continued and became the Information Technology Amendment Act. And further, it continues even today. Whereas this Personal Data Protection Bill 2006 was not renewed and it actually lapsed. One of the reasons could be that this Information Technology Amendment Act 2008 itself had this provision of section 43 capital A, which is very important today, and also sections like 72 capital A and other provisions which could be linked to the personal data protection. So therefore, the government at that time perhaps thought that there is no need for the personal data protection bill. Of course, I am talking of all this from my perspective as a person outside the government. There are other people who have perhaps better knowledge, but we feel that this personal data protection bill lapsed because the ITA 2008 did take care of some of the data protection requirements. But subsequently, until this Justice Puttaswamy judgment came, there was nothing much happening in the privacy field. But once this judgment came, there was a series of bills, PDPB 2019 and then PDPA 2023. In between this 2018, 2021, they all came and they were perhaps replaced. And now, of course, in 2025, we have the DPDPA rules. This is the journey of personal data protection in India. Simultaneously, FDPPI also had a very eventful journey. We started in 2018. In fact, one can admit that our response, this commencement of FDPPI was a sort of a response to the GDPR because GDPR finally became effective in 2018. So though India did not have a separate data protection law at that time, we felt that Indian these particular companies required some kind of assistance in being compliant with GDPR. That was how FDPPI was conceived. And of course, there was always a thought that sometime in future, India will have its own GDPR-like law. Now, after this 2018 formation, immediately in 2019 onwards, FDPPI started conducting certification programs, initially only in the data protection law at the draft level. The first draft, as you know, was presented by Justice Sri Krishna himself, and subsequently the government incorporated the public comments, and another version was there. So while this was going on, 2018-2019 bills, we continued to create the professionals in the particular area. Though many people might have thought that though there is no law, we are conducting some program or the other, but we felt that it is better to be early than late. We also conducted subsequently a program for GDPR, that is global laws. So we had a CDPP for Indian laws, certified data protection professional, and a certified data protection professional for global laws, in which we discussed GDPR, Singapore law, we discussed the Dubai laws, then Brazil law, HIPAA, US, at that time the California law. So some aspect of the global regulations on data protection was also a part of the certification program which we ran. Finally, we also introduced a version called CDPP A. A stands for audit here, so that we had 3 modules which actually helped people to go from the legal knowledge to the audit aspect. In 2024, after this DPDPA 2023 finally became a law, we actually, we were at that time, in fact, by the end of 2023 itself, we had released the first version of DGPSI, Data Governance and Protection Standard of India, and which covered the requirement of DPDPA. At that time, it so happened that in August 23 itself, while DPDPA was passed, the Bureau of Indian Standards came up with a draft standard on data governance, and in that they had a few provisions related to data protection. Our DGPSI already had certain data governance features, and therefore we actually ensured that the provisions of this draft BIS standard was already incorporated in our DGPSI. Therefore, the DGPSI full version, which was in vogue at that time, had the direct focus of DPDPA. It also incorporated the BIS draft standard at that time, and also the Information Technology Act. We have always been telling that Information Technology Act is part of the data protection law in India. Therefore, we have never separated it from the DPDPA. So that was the first version of DGPSI in 2023. Come 2024, AI was making waves, and there were data fiduciaries who were using artificial intelligence for processing of personal data. And because we were recognizing these people as fiduciaries with an extra responsibilities, we felt that there is a need for a framework extension for incorporating the AI aspects. So DGPSI AI was an extended framework for the DPDP, for the DGPSI first version, which is the full version. In between, the SMEs were also finding it difficult, and our DGPSI full version was perhaps a little
sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Sudarshan Mandem and Mr. Kamlesh were just joined. So
very good, very good. Welcome, Mr. Kamlesh and Mr. Sudarshan.
Namaskar, sir.
Yeah. So I was just recounting how FDPPI's journey had followed the journey of the personal data protection regulation in India. And in 2023, after the first version of the DGPSI came in, because it included certain complicated things like data valuation, for the SME sector, we felt that there is a need for a simplified version, and we also introduced DGPSI Lite. So we had DGPSI full version, DGPSI Lite version, DGPSI AI version by 2024. Very recently, we have further extended this framework to cover DGPSI HR for the HR functions. Why we thought it was necessary for HR was there were a number of manufacturing companies who, most of them in SME sector, who did not have customers' personal data, but they had the employee personal data. So their DPDPA exposure was mainly in the HR segment. Plus, there were many HRMS systems which actually provided the back-end HR services to a number of other companies. And it was quite a big segment by itself. So that's why we introduced DGPSI HR. And there was a thought at that time which occurred to us that while we talk of DGPSI for the data of fiduciaries, because that is where the liability lies, there were this people who are data processors who are feeling that they are outside the provisions of the law. But as we know that the Information Technology Act had a section called 72 capital A, which links the data processing contract to a kind of extension of liability, though the government actually through Jan Vishwas Act reduced the section 72 capital A from a criminal section to a civil section. We felt that the data processors also should voluntarily be compliant with DPDPA, and therefore we have introduced a framework for the data processors also. Then we have also decided that why DGPSI as an Indian-made standard should remain only in India. We will take on the GDPR, so we introduced DGPR version also. So these are the developments which FDPPI was having until a few months back. And during this time, we had our training program, certification program called Certified Data Protection Officer and Data Auditor. We always looked at data auditor as a function which is an extension of the DPO's activity. Now in 2026, we decided that we have to go one step further and we have to look at this independent data auditors as a new profession, and we need to have a new certification program that is now called AIDAI, that is Certified Independent Data Auditor, and because of which our earlier certification of Certified DPO and DA has been pushed back to CEDPO, that is Certified Elite Data Protection Officer, and CIDA will be taken up separately. So these are the developments which FDPPA has gone through. Many times we have been perhaps doing more than what is required at that particular point of time, but it has been one of our journey, principles that we should be ready before it is absolutely mandatory at a particular point of time. So when we looked back at some of these developments, Puttaswamy judgment actually created a privacy compliance culture in India, at least sowed the seeds of privacy compliance culture. Though the law did not define privacy, it cleverly said that you're all data fiduciaries, you decide what is good for the data principles, and we will focus in the law only about protection of personal data in a particular manner. So the focus of the law was personal data protection. It was fine. We therefore actually focused on compliance by default, which was again a departure from the privacy by default concept which GDPR people followed. So we said that since privacy is not a defined concept in DPDPA 2023, try to follow compliance by default, and compliance by default should automatically lead to privacy protection. Okay. So that is the mantra which we have been suggesting to all the data fiduciaries, and all these frameworks are helping us to go towards that. Now, FDPPI itself, I must say that is built on a principle which we are proud of. It is the principle of banyan tree. That is, we have actually started it in 2018. Now 7-8 years are over. Now there are several people who are coming out from the FDPPI banner, and they are establishing their own routes. And we hope that in future, like the banyan tree, they are the persons who will be supporting us in the further growth. As of today, we have many people who are there as supporting members or associate members. And we have seen that persons like Ashok Kini, who is here in this meeting, Manju, who is also perhaps there in this meeting, and Second Quadrant from Bombay, they have all now become independent organizations who can do audits, who they can even do training programs, and they have become the secondary arms of FDPPI. In this context, now AIDAI, that is the Association of Independent Data Auditors of India, will become one more major, say, development which has to take root, and it will grow further. And we have Mr. Vijayendra Shenai, a very, very senior information security professional in the country, to take this forward, so that my role in the future of the FDPPI AIDAI is not so critical, as we have this second level of people who have already come up. Okay, so with this association of independent data auditors, we feel the market is moving from being guardians of privacy to guardians of data accountability, which is the mission of this particular association. We hope that this is a thought which will take India to a new kind of a destination. So this rise of independent data auditor is a very interesting phenomena, because this word has been put into section 10 of DPDPA 2023. I'm not sure whether whatever we are interpreting now was the intention, but we feel that it is like the data trust score, which was there in the earlier version. This independent data auditor is a great concept which has been there in the DPDPA, and we have caught on to that, and we want to nurture that and ensure that that whole community gets developed. Now, the reason why independent data auditor has become necessary is that the law recognizes one category of data fiduciaries as significant data fiduciaries, and makes it mandatory for significant data fiduciaries to actually do an annual audit, which is an evaluation of the compliance, which has to be done by an independent data auditor. Internally, it is the data protection officer who will take care of the implementation, but once in a year at least, the law envisages that an external person will take a look at the compliance. And after the DPDPA rules were released, there were some additional, say, importance which was attributed to the role of the independent data auditor, because one, there is a requirement for them to actually have an algorithmic analysis, which could mean that they have to give some comments on the use of AI. Second, if there is any significant observations about non-compliance within an organization, the rules suggest that the independent data auditors will make a report directly to the Data Protection Board. that actually takes the role of the independent data auditors to a much higher level, like the company secretaries who are expected to report to SEBI if there are any problems, statutory auditors who are expected to report to the fraud investigation committee. So the independent data auditors have now been elevated to the level of statutory auditors and company secretaries because of this responsibility to directly report to the data protection board. So we have to recognize this, and therefore we are trying to do our bit in developing the skills required for being an independent data auditor. Now, in the earlier days, whether we are doing an ISO 27001 audit or any other kind of audit, this direct reporting to a regulatory authority, which has got the powers to impose penalties to the extent of 200, 250 crores and conduct its own investigation, that was not part of the ISO audit and PCI DSS audit and other things. So now we are in a completely different orbit, and we are responding to that. Now, one of the things which we have to also remember is the significant data fiduciary. There are people who are saying that the government will come up with a list of people who are significant data fiduciaries. I have my own doubts because the risk factor of processing is not known to the external world. It is only something which the data fiduciary knows. So for a government sitting outside to decide that a company X is having a high sensitivity processing going on in its premises, and therefore it should be designated as a significant data fiduciary, is not considered reasonable. Therefore, I don't expect the government to take on the responsibility of notifying XYZ companies as significant data fiduciaries and treat everybody else as not notified. They may still notify somebody who comes to their notice having high sensitivity and say that you have to treat yourself as a significant data fiduciary. But the law will not say that if government does not notify a company, then it will be only considered as not a significant data fiduciary. Under this premise, we feel that lot of data fiduciaries will have to do a self-evaluation of the volume risk and sensitivity risk, and then decide whether they are significant data fiduciaries or not. And wise companies will always err on the safer side and determine themselves to be significant data fiduciaries than otherwise. Once they decide that, they have to have a DPO, they have to have a DPIA, they have to have an independent data auditor. So the prospects for or the demand for the independent data auditors will be going up and up. And since most of the companies today use biometrics should be considered as a sensitive personal information. Then AI, about which the risk of using of AI, nobody seems to fully understand. So because of the high risk of AI and of the use of biometrics, nearly all companies in India today should consider themselves as significant data fiduciaries, and they all should look for an independent data auditor. This is my personal view. It is, of course, good for the audit community, but more than being good for the audit community, I feel this is where we will be heading in future. Now, this role of this independent data auditors, I am reminded of the modern cars which have this system called ADAS, that is the Advanced Driver Assistance System. Now, I am trying to say that this independent data auditor is something like an advanced DPDPA assistance system for companies, because it is these auditors who will have to tell a company, at least once in a year or whenever DPDPA is conducted, that you are trying to go off the lane, please come back on the lane, you are overspeeding, you have to regulate yourself. So we are looking at this independent data auditors in a very significant modern way of regulators outside the government body, and in a way it will help in the self-regulation as well as the industry supported compliance management system, reducing the burden on the government. This is what we want IDAs to do. IDAs, of course, will be paid by the organizations, but IDAs have a kind of responsibility to the nation. And apart from the fact that we always say the auditors should have integrity, they should be independent, more than that, here there is a responsibility to ensure that data protection is effectively monitored and supervised, particularly because of the reporting which happens to the Data Protection Board. Now, having realized this importance, we were confronted with two things. Now, we ourselves in FDPPI have trained about 250 people in either CDPO-DA itself or at least in the CDPP category. But not all of them maybe tomorrow be ready to take on an independent audit. So there is always a need for further experience. Now, in that kind of a scenario, if from 13th May 2027, if DPDPA becomes fully operative and every company in India, that too when we are saying that whoever uses AI, whoever uses biometrics may be considered as significant data fiduciary, we will be having thousands of Indian companies who will be in the category of significant data fiduciaries. Virtually, there are no people, not any sufficient number of people to handle these audit requirements. Today, there are a number of people who will be offering their services, but if you think deeply, it is going to be an area where there will be a shortage of professionals. That is when we thought that we need to see that existing, say, auditors in different fields, including the ISO 27001 auditors, there must be maybe lakhs of people in India who have been certified as lead auditors. I was checking with one of the certification agencies. They said in 2025 itself, I think 75,000 people have undergone the examinations for various ISO certifications, which may include the 9,000 category and 27,000 category, maybe even 42,000 category. But that indicates that there are thousands and thousands of lead auditors who have been trained to do ISMS audit or similar things. In addition, we have got lakhs of people who are chartered accountants, lots of people who are company secretaries, lots of people who are cost accountants, and maybe hundreds of persons who are trained to be DPOs who can actually transform to data auditors. So we thought that AIDAI will try to onboard all these people into the category of independent data auditors and try to move them into this area. Because after all, even a chartered accountant is doing an audit, he is doing an audit with data only. Today, all companies exist on data. Our shareholding is in the form of data, bank money is in the form of data. So assets have become data. Therefore, there is a data audit which is going on around us. So we felt that just as people, at least only Mr. Modi keeps saying, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we felt that all these auditors should actually come onto a single platform. In this, I have also included cost accountants. The reason is that data valuation is an important concept which we have kept. And in that, we see a role for these cost accountants. So that is why AIDAI has now been promoted as a unified platform for all these people. Keeping this in view, we have also tried to ensure that AIDAI will be able to support the entire ecosystem. We have created three kinds of empanelment in AIDAI with a specific objective. We have not gone for empanelment of somebody who is 10 years experienced, 20 years experienced kind of a thing. Instead of that, we have taken all people who may have zero experience in privacy, and we want to empanel them as probationary independent data auditors if they are interested in getting into the data audit. We feel that this will be a category of people who will be coming from the freshers, some of them who may be losing their job on AI and other things. This becomes an alternative vocation for them. Otherwise, we were only catering to people who are the near DPO stage, which means that 5 years plus professionals. Now we are trying to get these freshers into this particular field. We also feel the necessity of this because today, if you are having a DPO in a big company, let us say an Infosys or something, under him, there should be 10 or 15 assistants who have to assist him. And therefore, these probationary IDAs can work with experienced DPOs, and there is a need to develop this secondary level of DPOs, and we are trying to empanel these people and provide the necessary training for them. Then we looked at these people who are already CAs, already cost accountants, already certified by organizations like DSCI. We said that we will have all of them into our fold. We will call them as accredited IDAs. Accredited by some organization. We are not today going into the evaluation of whether that accreditation is as good as FDPPA accreditation or other things. But we will accept all of them as accredited IDAs, accredited by organizations other than FDPPI. And if they want to get into the data audit area, we will support them. In addition, of course, we will have our own community of people who will be certified by FDPPI. FDPPI certification goes through a training and then an examination. And all these other people, like these accredited organizations, will be given an opportunity to take the online examination and try to come to the category of certified IDAs if they want. Okay, otherwise, we are quite happy if there are people who are not FDPPI certified. If they still want to do the, data audit, we will support them with whatever is required. In fact, after this empanelment, we are actually trying to provide a formal induction program, maybe sometime in June. Maybe Vijayendra will even give a date. Okay, we are trying to ensure that some kind of induction training is given just to reorient them. It's an orientation program. Maybe it is just a day's program we will do. Subsequently, we may give them more detailed training. But that is something which we are giving to all the empaneled persons, so that these independent data auditors become the key pillar of the India's DPDPA compliance culture. Now, institution-wise, as of today, AIDAI is a division of FDPPA, which is a Section 8 company. There are 3 directors in our company. I am one of the persons who is the chairperson. There is Nagendra, there is Ramesh Venkatraman. Ramesh Venkatraman is outside the country. Nagendra was not able to come today. But we have created a governance committee for AIDAI. Mr. Vijayendra Shanai will be the CEO, and he will be supported by this governance committee. And beyond this governance committee, which will take care of the operations, we are actually trying to build a group of industry veterans as advisors. And I hope that Vijayendra Shanai will be benefiting by the wisdom of these advisors. A few of those advisors are here. Mr. Bajaj should be here. Bajaj was a person who started DSCI as the first CEO. I have worked with him at that time when DSCI was taking the baby steps in Bangalore. We have Rakesh Maheshwari, who has been with the Ministry of Information Technology and has personally supervised the DPDPA development. We have Sudarshan Mandyam, who is a veteran in the ISO area. We have, of course, got a person representing the chartered accountant community. I'm not sure whether he is there. And who else is there, Mr.
Sir, that's all, sir. Mr. Madhav Moti and Mr. Karthik, these two gentlemen are not able
Are
to
not there.
attend. Yeah.
But so currently about 5 people who are there in this advisory group. We are expecting confirmations from a couple of others. But we are not going to tax them too much, but we want them to be there to back up the requirements of this organization. And I hope that will make this organization truly represent the multiple communities we have got, like the ISO community, the CA community, the cost accountant community, and so on. I hope that will be an effort which will be useful. For example, when we are taking up this data valuation, we have created a standard called the Data Valuation Standard of India as an experimental basis. But now those things have to be actually debated at the much higher level in the accountant community. Similarly, recently the PSUs, the Comptroller and Auditor General has told that data valuation is essential for PSUs, and there has to be a fair valuation for data assets, which should be reflected in the PSU's asset base. So there is going to be some additional requirements there. So that is where the chartered accountants, cost accountants should be helpful for us. And for the reasons I have said, I am expecting that there will be a lot of prospects for IDAs, and we will try to provide whatever support is required. Basically, we will be managing the empanelment program. And after empanelment, we are giving this induction program and subsequent training programs that is for self-development. Over and above that, in order to generate some business for these people, we are trying to create an exchange platform for enabling them to seek and spot opportunities for data audit. If tomorrow, say, some 10,000 companies are looking for data auditors, they have to have a source from which they have to shortlist and then work, and there will be that platform which we are going to have. Additionally, we are also going to set up a grievance redressal platform, which is also something which is a mandatory for all data fiduciaries, whether they are significant or not. So that will be specifically of interest to the advocates. Advocates also will be part of this accredited say IDAs, because they may do audit of their own, like contract audit some of them may do actually the full audit also. So we are trying to use that with them. So with this concept, we have started the AIDAI. In a way, our logo actually reflects this. Obviously, the law book is represented in the logo. Trust and protection is reflected in the shield. Then the prosperity is reflected in the leaves which are shown there. Then, of course, progress, growth, and knowledge, plus the multiple organizations. So our logo reflects this entire concept and brings accountability to the data. And I will leave it to Mr. Vijayendra Shanai to explain more about this empanelment. And currently we have taken these 3 empanelment categories. Maybe in future we will have some additional say recognitions, like a senior IDA or distinguished independent data auditor or a fellow of AIDAI and so on. So these are all developments for the future. We know that it is important to have integrity and independence. We are going to insist on some ethical standards for the empaneled independent data auditors, and that will perhaps be as important as the oath which many of these professions insist before they are provided the responsibility, whether they are a lawyer or a chartered accountant. So what we need from people like you is that ensure that our vision of bringing together multiple types of these things into one platform, which is unique, but is also something which is very, very difficult to achieve. I know that I may be in a utopian world to say that a DSA auditor will come and join this, or a chartered accountant will come and join this. But I am an optimist and I hope it will happen. And I want all of you to somehow assist in this kind of development, which will be good for the country. Whether it is good for FDPPA or not, it will be good for the country. So just to summarize, we are looking at this independent data auditors as a new profession, which will provide the advanced DPDPA assistance to the various organizations. And we have started it in April. We are now having this meeting with the larger sections, and in June we will be having an induction program. We hope that as we go forward with the help and cooperation of all of you, we will make this vision a success. Kindly visit aidai.org.in and we will have a Q&A also later on after Mr. Shania finishes his presentation. I will also request some of the people who are here, including the advisors, to actually share their views at this point of time. Maybe you are not fully aware of what we want to do or something like that, but maybe whatever thoughts comes to your mind after Mr. Vijayendra Shenai completes his brief presentation on his line of action. Yeah.
Now, Naavi, this is Kamlesh Bajaj. Can I take a minute before?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Vijayendra Shenoy?
Yeah.
Because I have to leave. This suddenly landed on my calendar when Vijayendra spoke to me in the afternoon. So I thought I must join and get to understand what you are up to. Yeah. First of all, it is very nice to see you that you have the same passion as when I met you for the first time. That was way back in 2008 when we were starting DSCI. So I've been away from this field now for almost now a decade. I demitted office in 2015, and then I worked as a professor in a university, NIIT University, mostly on cybersecurity and privacy and other areas. But you must be knowing that in DSCI we had started the privacy efforts at that time, and we were associated with the formulation of the privacy law. And I was there in the second or third sessions also in the year 2016-17 when new committees had taken over. The key point is that we had focused on the privacy principles as the cornerstone and privacy by default. And we had created a certification, as you referred to, DSCI certified privacy professional was one, and the other was for the I don't remember now, but more as a professional who would go in the advisory capacity, which could also be turned around in terms of your presentation as an auditor as well. So I think there is the numbers I don't know, but probably a couple of hundred were certified even during the year 2013, 14, 15 at that time. So I'm sure the numbers must be very large, but good to see your passion and the kind of umbrella that you think you are creating. While I agree with a lot of things that you have mentioned in terms of bringing everybody on board, and I know that having worked with the industry and with the government, it's a Herculean task in terms of getting acceptance, but then beginning has to be made somewhere. So I'm happy to see that you are starting this. A lot of legwork has been done. So your organization is focused as the governance or FDPPI. FDPPI is the entity, which is a Section 8 company, and
Yes.
everything else falls under that.
Yeah.
So who is promoting this Section 8 company? Who are the
Actually,
initial funders,
no,
backers, and all?
actually, it has not been funded by any big organization at all. It is actually constituted by the individual professionals, about 400 people who have contributed initially through their membership funds.
Very
Subsequently,
good.
we started doing our educational certification. In fact, certification is actually giving some kind of a revenue. Of course, certifications have to be executed by our members. So members are
Yeah, yeah.
being compensated for whatever they do, because if all said and done, FDPPI will be the umbrella company or the shell company in which others will function. But still, we have been able to develop this. That's why I said banyan tree model. No, that is, our members become actually the supporters as we go along. They will be paying something like a royalty in whatever they do along with our this thing. That is the model which we have developed. We have
Okay.
either we can say we are fortunate or not fortunate of not being supported by a large organization, because the moment a large organization comes, there will be some compromise of principles. I don't want that to
Yeah, yeah.
happen.
Mhm.
Okay. So today it is actually supported by nearly 500 people who are actually there. Not all of them are in the same category of members. In fact, ours is a Section 8 company limited by guarantees. That is, there is no share capital which these 400 people have given. Okay, in fact, we have started with almost zero funds kind of a thing. It's only a guarantee they have given that in the event of a liquidation, they will come back with 10,000 rupees. But many of our members, we have not even told them in
Yeah.
detail. They are not considering that. They have of course paid for the certification programs and some membership we have
Sure.
created. So
Well,
that's yeah.
it's a very ambitious program, Navi, and I wish you all the success. And whatever possible, I'll do my bit.
Thank
So
you.
with this, I would like to take leave.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And
Thank you for the opportunity.
I personally thank you, because I look at you as the pioneer in this kind of activity, because when DSCI was started, the kind of problems which were there are totally different from today. Today, DSCI is fully supported by big companies. There is no problem. Okay. But
Yeah.
at the beginning, you had your own difficulties, and I'm sure that has got its own contribution to the
Well, thank you
system.
very much. So look
Thank,
forward to hearing more from Vijayendra later. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
thank,
I'll beg your. I'll leave now. Yeah.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank,
Bye.
thank you so much.
Yeah, Vijayendra, you can continue.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, good evening, everyone, and also it's my privilege to welcome respective delegatories from advisory board. As we said, Mr. Kamlesh Bajaj, who spoke, and because of his paucity of time, and he just left. So I have a pleasure in now welcoming Mr. Rakesh Maheshwari, who is who doesn't need any introduction, but however, I will still go ahead and introduce. He's worked in the different capacity of a Minister of Information Technology, and as Naavi sir said, that he is more deep into the privacy aspect, because his involvement and contribution is commendable. I welcome Mr. Rakesh Maheshwari. Thank you for joining this, sir. And next, I welcome Mr. Sudarshan Mandyam, who is a authority in ISO communities, where any ISO standard, before it gets introduced or induced in the industry, or even it gets into the maturity level, he is the professional who gets it and gets a lead role, and takes that particular standard in various capacity across the geo. So it's our privilege to welcome Mr. Sudarshan Mandem, and thank you very much, sir, for attending and taking your time off from the busy schedule. Thank you, sir. So I also have a couple of other representatives, but unfortunately they are not able to make it. So one is from the chartered accountant communities, who is a very visionary and itinerary figure called Mr. Madhav Murthy, who was presented in on April 11th during the launch, and he has extended all his support, and he is also continued to support from all aspects of financial fraternity. Then we have another gentleman, Mr. Karthik Bapannad. He is from VFSI. So unfortunately, because of their prior commitments, they are not unable to join. So with that, these are the people who are part of our advisory, who is helping us very closely. With that, let me start with the agenda, but then I see that Naavi sir's presentation is always content rich. I'm sure people are able to digest it. But let me just walk you through some touch points where from I'll give the business angle and what are our commitments and what are our plans for the next few months and also for the next financial year, so that what are our responsibilities. And as we said, this is more of a collaboration. It is a mutually back-to-back relation type of a platform. So wherein industry veterans and professionals like you, I'm sure we have today more than 200 members, but 40 members or more. So I see online. But you see, everybody can contribute in their own capacity. So that's what the platform, that is the beauty of this platform. So with that, I'll start my agenda. So next few minutes I'll be talking about empanelment details, though Mr. Naavi has touched upon what are the different streams that we are already coined, and then the competency and development, then independent audit engagement, and finally data exchange platform. So let me take you through the empanelment details. As we said, first is the probationary independent data auditor. So the purpose of this stream, the track, is to invite all the discipline, the people or the professionals from different tracks. It could be technical, management, finance, legal, those who are freshers. Today, they are not able to decide what is their which line or which career they have to choose. However, here is the platform for them. We invite them and then say that we will take them to the training program, and then we have a clear career path for them, and for which we are charging about a nominal fee of rupees 6,000 for the empanelment. The second category is the accredited independent data auditor. That means there are so many auditing functionalities today. You see, whether it is a technology or a technical stream, we call it as ISO and various other standards. Similarly, when it comes to financial, we say that regulatory and statutory audits. Then we have a legal community. So they have their own way of looking at things for the auditing functionalities. So what we did is we clubbed everything, and then we invite the people who are having about up to 5 years experience or above, and or they also carry some of the industry certifications. Could be ISOs, or could be any technical certifications, or any auditing standard certification, global or domestic, or whatever the product certification. With that, we will show them the career path, and we tell them that you start the journey with us with as an accredited independent data auditor, and then we will take it to the highest category, which is the third category called independent data auditor. And for this second category, we are charging very nominal fee of again 6,000 rupees per enrollment. And the final category is the certified independent data auditor. Yes, somebody is having a rich experience and looking for such a platform like us, where there is a opportunity to showcase and demonstrate their value proposition. However, they are expected to go through the training, or they can directly take up the exams of what we offer. So for which again we are charging about 10,000 rupees per enrollment. So what is our target? The target is about 400 empanelment for this calendar year. So on an average of 100 per quarter is the ambitious target. However, we are all confident that some of or most of the existing FDPPI members can also come into this particular category. And if you look at the target, I always see that it is one empanelment per day, so which is about 400 for an annual per annum. So I see that, and I also urge and request the members of FDPPI and the new members or whoever is associated directly or indirectly, if they can commit themselves and then get an enrollment of at least one, then it will be easy or helpful to meet our targets. As Mr. Naavi said, FDPPI is the Section 8 company, but then when it comes to AIDA, it is we are revenue driven, and we are looking at a different revenue stream. Here is one such stream we are carved out, and I'm sure with your help and support, we should be able to reach this target. So a lot of things we have spoken about training and competency development. There are 4 pillars. First is certified data protection professionals, which is basically the India track, and then second track is the elite data protection officer for the implementer track. Then the third is certified independent data auditor track, and the fourth one is certified data protection officer for GDPR, which is we have coined it as a global track because it gives various global privacy standard exposure which is needed because when you address the certain business verticals, India is the business where we do business for the countries like US and Europe, European Union and UK and other part of the geo, and we are a software services hub and also ITES hub and various IT services. Hence, the data that moves from one geo to another geo, we should know. So hence, we are taking that as a global track. So this all the 4 different certificates, which we have Naavi sir touched upon. But again, this is how we develop an individual in a different capacity, so that based on his or her qualifications. The another interesting concept is in addition to that, we also provide the regular ISO's training, which is ISMS, PIMS, and HIPAA, AMS, BCMS, and various other certificates, which you are most aware of, the ISO certificates. So this is our additional training based on the demand and the need of the customer. Sometimes we need to pep them up before we get implementation of a DPDA or any privacy standard, because they will say, we would like to hear from Naavi sir and we would like to get more information from FDPPI. We still say that we are the champions of privacy, hence we also know security more than anybody else. The very innovative concept that we are coming out, which is called Experience Center of FDPPI. What does that mean? So in tier 2 or tier 3 cities or even metros, people are, some individuals or professionals who have spent enough time in the industry, and they see that they have to give it back or one or the other way, and also they would show that they would like to pursue in security and data privacy domain and audits, so they can take a lead role, and they can associate with the FDPPI, and then take the trainings on their own capacity, and FDPPI is going to support in all aspects. So it is pretty much kind of a franchisee or a partner model is what we are thinking of. Independent audit engagement, yes, it is a great opportunity, because now DPDPA 2020 DPDPA Act has made mandatory. As you know, significant data fiduciary is compelled to conduct annual independent data audit. Hence, there is a great opportunity. And also, additional information, I also heard from Naavi sir other day that HIPAA is also made the similar annual independent data audit compulsory. So I see that the gates are opening in all possible directions. People are seeing that audit and compliance is a way of life, so that it is always looked at the apex level and the board level as an compliance. So people have realized that the compliance is the key to the business. So what we do, we spoke about the advisory, we spoke about the governance committee. So DPDPA today in India, it's a new topic, which means there are no clear-cut guidelines or the kind of a control checklist what we see in ISO or other standards or any other framework. But here you have to interpret. Then you need to look at how you look at the business, and how you look at the customer commitments, how you map those critical controls into your DPDPA framework. Hence, DPDPA Act today, as of today, is new to the customer, is new to the business, is new to the legal community, is new to the independent auditors or the data auditor. Hence, there are challenges. Therefore, we are seeking that there should be a timely guidance from the advisory board. Like I said, we have more than 400 years of immense experience we have constituted. Today, I have no doubt that any kind of a challenge, whether it is a legal, financial, or even the cost accountant perspective, or the technical or engineering, any challenges we are able to tackle with the guidance of and the advisors of advisory board. So apart from that, we have another level of governance committee. We are on the ground, and we are on the ground in the sense we are working on the customer project. So we bring in the complex challenges, and we also know the solutions. And for the more complex or any other scenarios, we look upon advisory board, and then we get those problems solved and pass it on to the customer, benefit to the customer as well as the business. So overall, if you see, independent auditor is having a lots of opportunity, at the same time lots of challenges, lots of learning. But here is the opportunity for anyone to get associated if somebody is looking at an DPDPA as well as independent data auditor as a career path. So we have talked about different stream of professionals coming into one particular single platform. This is what we are talking about, data exchange platform. What does that mean? For us, it is a collaboration. We are simply saying it's collaborate. How do we collaborate? We get a pool of the professionals from engineering stream and technical stream, chartered accountant, financial accountants, and legal experts and auditors and independent auditors. So we get them onto the common platform, and any solutions or any problems which will be shared across, and everyone's opinion is valued, and then we transform them onto the technology platform. How do we do that? So we were thinking, we are looking at the phase one is something called, because we are all experienced audit professionals. DPDPA is, the timelines is hardly 8 months. Now everybody is after implementation of DPDPA. So we thought with the kind of a maturity that we carry today, we will start with the online SaaS model, wherein if somebody, some organization or any SMEs, if they need the our services, like independent auditing or external auditing or internal auditing or even the implementation, they can simply subscribe to our SaaS model, and they will have the complete compliance audit and compliance lifecycle module for them, and we will help them in every aspects of it. And then this probably the work has started, and our ambitious target is by December end this year we will be able to get this going online, and then we will have more such organization in our bouquet. So, addition to that, in the phase two, we are looking at, there are a lot of, we are expecting the people who are looking at whether it is a data subject, whether it is a data fiduciary or a data processor or significant data fiduciary, or whichever the capacity, if they have one or the other nature of dispute or the grievance. So where do they go? There are a lot of private bodies, there are a lot of government bodies, and etc. etc. But then we are showing them, here is a one single platform. You need to just come and subscribe, and just voice your problems, and then we are there to resolve and give you a proper fit to business solution. So which means the legal professionals here completely engaged. If you see here, legal professional for data dispute mediation and arbitration, we are engaging legal professionals, we are engaging even the financial professional, like others a while ago I said, for data valuation. So in every capacity we are engaging every professional. So what do we do here is the simple, just to get a high level overview. So the process is, we just get the registration and get the demand request and customer profiling, and then provisioning, then reporting, then payments, and customers reports. So this is how the high level life cycle is what we are thinking of for the SaaS model. So this is the one single platform for all your simple to complex scenarios and issues. Let me assure you this is a opportunity for all the professionals to showcase their capabilities, as well as they can also take it back with the wealth of the knowledge, the kind of experienced professional that we have. So with that, I thank everyone for patient listening. And I would like to, we would like to take up any Q&A from whether it is FDPPI or AIDAI.
I would like to have Rakesh Maheshwari speak about his views.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And in fact, my all the best wishes to AIDA. And I'm sure if this, because there is an excellent vision that has been presented, and Mr. Kamlesh Bajaj has already talked of some of the challenges, particularly because we do not have any such formal scheme by the government, at least as of today, and hence credibility does become important. So vision is good. I'm sure that the team which is there and the dedicated team which is working should also be able to create, I'll say, a good pool of resources. So at least beginning is very, very good. for any of such programs, whether you get a formal accreditation or not, credibility will always play an important role. So if we are able to prove that we are a credible organization, we have competency and we have independence and whatever integrity kind of requirements which is there for any auditor, will be, I'll say, some of those points which can make it or break it. So I'm sure, I mean, with this kind of commitment which has been shown, hopefully we are able to maybe create this credit worthy organization which is recognized across. And beyond that, I'll always look forward to have, in fact, the knowledge repository, which is very important, and as many as maybe practical cases and sort of live scenarios, practical scenarios. If we have that kind of knowledge repository over a period of time created for various kinds of organizations, sectors, will always be much helpful to continue to keep it credible, because that continues to be the core crux. If it is credible, naturally everybody will recognize. It's a matter of time. So that is what should speak. I mean, word should speak. And with this, I wish this organization, this effort, this initiative all the best. All the best. And of course, your commitment always remains.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words, and then see that very encouragement, and then we are also seeking very valuable guidance from you all. So with this, can I request Mr. Sudarshan Mandam to table your thoughts, sir? Sir, you're on mute. If you can unmute, please.
Thank you. It's a very good initiative. I give full support about whatever way you want. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir,
There
can
is
I?
a question from me, I guess.
Sorry?
May what's to say? Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Firstly, thank you all for inviting to this conversation. It is a great effort and all the best. I had a little bit more, I wanted to know a little bit more about the software, the platform, data platform that we were discussing, because we have been building that something on that line since quite a while. And if I could share the updates with somebody or discuss it with somebody, it would be really great. So I would like to know who I could get in touch with regarding that. But I would love to contribute in that direction if I may.
Now, initially, you please talk to me after perhaps your next presentation. Then we will put you onto the technical people for further steps. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kodandram wants to say anything?
No, I am extremely happy that what we have thought of is being there, though it was bit slow due to a law becoming high. This one, it was crippled in the initial stage in 2017-18. Law should have come. Now at least it has come of late, and now it has more commercial outlook. And once we have these kind of professionals handling our Indian businesses, that will be a very profound service of our organization. That's what I always feel. Because we are only living on borrowed services, hitherto, especially as far as cyberspace is concerned. Now we are venturing it in full colors, and we have full set of professionals in our organization to catch up with it. And therefore, this is a very timely initiative. We will try to do our best and achieve this vision and fulfill this vision. And India again emerges as a knowledge as well as powerful aspects of cyberspace. That's what I congratulate our FDPPI, because it is the organization which now we fondly started, and we have been part of it, and we will continue to be in the journey in whatever capacity we can serve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So can we open the floor for questions, sir? We can take up a couple of
Yeah,
questions.
if anybody has got any questions, clarifications. Okay. If there are no questions, it's okay. Any questions? Ashok, you want to say anything?
There is a question in the chat box, sir, if I'm allowed to read it.
Yeah, please.
How do we take care of conflict of interest with our current organization and being part of AIDA? That is Mr. Ramki.
Yeah, Vijendra, you would like me to answer that?
Yeah, you can take up. Then I'll add.
Same. If you are into data audit kind of activities, your organization itself can be a, let's say, either a corporate member or otherwise register as one of the constituents of these AIDA members. Okay, so they can participate in bidding and other things. So if you are an individual, I don't think there will be any conflict situation because you are perhaps participating in the activities, receiving education, kind of a thing. So unless you have anything specific in mind, I don't see any conflict at individual level. If you are, for example, let us say, many of us, we are actually having our own audit services, and when we execute the audit on behalf of FDPPI, we have a royalty system where we get paid for our efforts, and then there is a royalty which the organization gets. So we have actually, in a way, ingrained the role of say our members who are in similar business. We don't consider that as a conflict. Okay. Ashok, any kind of people are there? Many of us are in some kind of activity. We were all there before FDPPI came. I was there in similar activity. So obviously, you can say there was conflict even at that time. So we avoided the conflict by defining a system of membership in FDPPI called the supporting members. Today we call them as associate members. So we work under the umbrella of FDPPI. Same thing can happen if your organization is an audit organization.
I would just like to maybe answer partly. I'm not sure if I'll be able to justify the question that Mr. Ramki has. So Mr. Ramki, we have some of the members who are currently working in organizations like yours, but their primary interest obviously is to understand what is happening in the practical world. That is one of the things which will anyway help. I'm sure you have mentioned that you are part of an internal audit team as well. So that also will help you in some way in terms of applying whatever is taught as part of our courses that is going to be delivered in future. So it will enable you. First is becoming a member will open a lot of doors for you in terms of knowledge itself and what is happening in the real life world and things like that. That itself is one of the things. I know maybe you cannot participate commercially in activities outside, but at some point in time, later point in time, if you want to become an independent auditor, you are always already there.
Adding to the queue, taking the queue forward, Ashok, thanks. Mr. Ramki, we also have the people representing from the auditing companies, which are global companies. So you need not worry about that. I think you are in the right platform. So I officially I welcome you to the FDPP and AIDA.
Can you please? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you can speak. I think your voice is breaking.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not sure with the microphone. So, I just that was my question. Thanks
Sir,
for
we are
answering.
not getting a proper voice, sir.
Sorry.
Perhaps you can try coming closer to your microphone and speak, sir.
And there is an echo as well, so I think some settings issues.
ಹಲೋ
You can type it.
ಜನ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೋನ್ನಾಗೆ ತಗೋ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಹಾಕಿನಲ್ಲೋ ಬೆಣ್ಣಿಗೆ
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, you are on mute now.
No,
Your voice is very feeble, Mr. Ramakrishna.
sorry for that.
Now it is better. Now it is better. Please speak.
Okay, sorry for that. So yeah, thanks. First of all, thanks for inviting, and yeah, it was a wonderful session. I have been following you, Naavi sir, for a little longer time, and I've been observing, and I am closely aware of Ramesh Venkatraman. He was my ex-boss in Siemens, so I know him very well, and he knows me very well. And also I know Javagal,
Agendra.
Nagendra Javagal. Yeah, I know him also. We were all colleagues. So yeah, I was looking forward for one of this kind of forum or opportunity, I would say. So yeah, I mean, yeah, my only concern, as I said, was on the conflict part, because I'm also doing, and we also do, as you know, a lot of AI, a lot of data and things like that. So I just want to make sure that, you know, the conflict of interest part doesn't get away. Yeah, I understand, Mr. Shenoy sir, on your response on not actively participating, but of course, I can give support on whatever I could contribute, because for more than a decade and a half, I'm doing in healthcare and more of UMDR on those kind of GDPR and also HIPAA level things. So apart from the healthcare industry or software healthcare industry, I would say. So wherever it can be, I'm looking forward for it. Thank you very much.
Shana, you can answer, Mr. Pillai.
Yeah. So this particular very interesting question, and I know Mr. Pillai comes from chartered accountant by qualification and rich financial experience. So what we India, like I said earlier during my presentation, we are working as more of a software services hub, which is in the different capacity, which is it is IT soft engineering center or IT enabled services or the product services. So what we do is every time we have the data of not ours, but it is the customer's data. When I say customer, we always cater to outside India. Hence, how DPDPA is applicable for the organization who are processing their data in India in a different capacity. Just to give an example, if there are shared services or BPO services, the entity which is in India, which is processing the let's say US employees data or the personal data or health records, if it is a healthcare segment, then how DPDPA treats it from DPDPA from India standpoint, and also number of employees who are employed here in India, definitely it is applicable. So one should know DPDPA not only from the domestic point of view or data localization. Also, if somebody is in other sector, could be telecom or could be retail, if there is a data exchange happening between the different geos, then how the DPDPA Act applies, and accordingly one has to suggest. I hope I have done the justice to your question.
Kamal, you have got any? Kamalacharya, I think he left. Okay. Yeah. Nivedita, yeah? Yeah, just you have to wait a few days for us to finalize this AIDA exam. Okay. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Initially, if I would like to empanel, like which
Yeah,
category?
please.
Mr. Shenai mentioned about 3 categories. First category, that is probationary.
No, you are already certified. You should go for certified. You can, of course, go for probationary if you want. Okay, but you are eligible for the certified category.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions in the chat box. Can I request Mr. Ashok to say a few words and your thoughts?
Yeah, I think everybody has spoken all the good things. I think it's a challenge, like Mr. Maheshwari said. We have a long road ahead. We have to all get up. We are supposed to put things in order, and I'm sure with all the support we will. Naavi sir is always the visionary, but we have to take it forward from there.
Thank you. Sir, I also request Mr. Adapu and Subrai Naidu to say, your thoughts.
Subraidu sir, I don't think is there. I'm not sure if.
Adipu sir?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Clear, loud and clear.
Sir, I would like to say that this is a new initiative from my BBPI, which is going to see a new light in the profession of auditing. And as you know, as a practicing auditor, I see a lot of challenges from the industry for auditor, because primarily I want to say that we are targeting this initiative as an independent auditor. But my experience is an auditor cannot be independent because there are so many pressures from an auditor. So keeping the pressures and balancing the requirements, interest of customer, interest of the organization what we are representing as independent auditor, or a part of auditor as a certification body. We have a great challenge as auditor, and many of the people who are in the group right now, they are all experienced chartered accountants and cost accountants and professionals. So I am definitely sure that with the guidance from Naavi sir and other senior members like Mr. Sudarshanam and Mr. Maheshwari, will be able to take this initiative forward and look forward to my active participation. Thank you, Mr. Shanai.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, there is always challenge, so that's where we have the opportunity to knock.